I'm Nicole Rodriguez. I'm the Victim Advocacy Coordinator at the Mercy Center. If you look over here, we have a wall display of different types of clothing, men's clothing, children's clothing, women's clothing. This is all to symbolize that it doesn't matter what you're wearing, who you are, what your gender is, that you can be a victim of sexual assault. So the exhibit started I believe in 2013 in a university in Indiana, and it's called What Was I Wearing? And it just symbolizes that it doesn't matter what we're wearing, anybody can fall victim to sexual assault.
Hi, I'm Denise Rodriguez. I'm the co-director of the New Jersey Coalition Against Sexual Assault. We're headquartered in Lawrenceville, New Jersey, but are a statewide organization. And we're here today to support Mercy Center and bring awareness about sexual assault as we close out SAM, which is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. And I'm here with my colleague Carson.
Hello, I'm Carson Swisher, NJCASA's Data and Analytics Specialist. I'm just echoing everything Denise said. We're here to support, raise awareness about sexual violence, and support Mercy Center in doing so, gathering the community.
Yes, my name is Ken Morgan, and this is Deacon Mary Scott. We're from Second Baptist Church in Asbury Park, and we are here. We partner with the Mercy Center to shine a light on the domestic violence. And we have been working with the Mercy Center for about 2 years in this effort, and we're here to support their program. Yeah.
And we need to know that domestic abuse and sexual assault is I believe, very prevalent in Monmouth County, particularly in the Asbury Park Neptune areas. And we want to bring light, because many times it takes people of color to be able to talk to people of color, to make us comfortable enough to know it's not just happening to us, but we have to speak out, we have to stand up so that we can get the support we need as individuals. And equally important, we need to support our children, because many of our children feel the effects of this different type of violence. And as a public school teacher, I see it every day, and it's now for us time to deal with it, to help them get through it, and to stop it.
Hi, my name is Raquel Mattis. I'm from New Bethel Church. We are located at 101 West Sylvania Avenue in Neptune City. We partner with the Mercy Center, and we're doing different events to help to promote Mercy Center, and also to promote the church, and also to prevent violence against women. That's our main focus, to help the women, battered women, and to find resources in the community to help them. So that's the main goal and focus right now.
Hello everybody, my name is Pamela Major, and I am the Interfaith Coalition Coordinator for the Domestic Violence and Sexual Assault programs at Mercy Center. We work with the faith community, we work with the general community, and I am also the coordinator on the Mayor's Wellness Committee of the Year of Stigma Free in Asbury Park. And we're here at Sisters Academy, part of Mercy Center, to do the Sexual Assault Awareness Month event. And we're just getting ready to get started, and I'm going to introduce to you the director of the Family Resource Center, Mrs. Veronica Gilbert-Tyson.
Hi, I'm Veronica Gilbert-Tyson. I'm the Director of Family Services at Mercy Center, and I'm also the Director of Violence Against Women as it pertains to sexual violence and domestic violence. And today we're working with the community in collaboration with the Mayor's Wellness community to inform the community about our services and to ask the community to continue to help us with their work against violence against women. Thank you.
I'm John Moore, I'm the mayor, and it's the Mayor's Wellness Committee, but this year Pam's taking the lead as far as the Stigma Free, and we have an event each month. Today's a great event being hosted by Mercy Center, and the next one's in the middle of May. And you can go onto our city website and see the entire schedule for the entire year. So if you can't make today's, please try to make one in the future, because this is a great year of getting out to the community how we can become more stigma free. So again, Pam, Veronica, thank you very much.
Right? 1 in 3 women, 1 in 4 men, 1 in 2 trans or binary people will be in an abusive relationship this year. That's striking. That is scary. And that's why we're here today. Here at Mercy Center, through the Family Resource Center and Veronica's group and Pamela's work, what we're doing is trying to stop it at its core. We do something in the state of New Jersey that they don't do any place else here. We are a multicultural unit that works to stop domestic violence and sexual assault in its shoes before it even has a chance to grow. So I'm going to first introduce I'm not going to introduce all the staff, we'll be here all day, but I do want you to raise your hand. Dee Dee speaks Creole. Alan speaks Arabic. Nicole speaks Spanish. Where are you, Nicole? Hiding in the back. And our pantry manager does sign language. And then Veronica speaks English. I speak English. We always forget English. But what their goal is to reach communities, like the people in the room here, to talk to them about a subject that nobody ever wants to say out loud. So what you see in this room are coalitions of people who are like-minded, and that is stopping sexual abuse and domestic violence in its tracks before it gets started, building relationships, and the multicultural aspect of it allows us to stop it before it gets too bad. My husband was a family court judge for many years, and he used to say a certain ethnic background used to appear before him all the time and lose their kids. Because they would, in their culture, whip their kids. That was just the way it was. It was okay to take a stick to your kids. But that was in the country they came from. And so when he heard we were doing this program here, he was thrilled because he didn't want to have to explain to this poor dad why he had to take his kids away. He would rather have those kids and those dads and their families learn about it in a natural, stigma-free way. And that's what today is all about. Teaching these families that they need to be more respectful of each other in many ways and in a non-threatening, culturally specific, culturally acceptable way. So I want to thank the Mayor's Office on Wellness for making sure this happens, the Prosecutor's Office for joining us today, all of the faith-based groups that are in the room today. I want to thank you for that. And then I want to say one small thing. This doesn't happen by accident. Pam, you have been fabulous. Where are you, Pam? A round of applause for Pam because she set this up. All of my staff set this up, and they do this every day. And right now, this staff, the ones I've just identified, plus Allison, Paige, and all the others, we have 13 social workers and advocates who work very hard. Right now, they are managing 50 families in hotels who have been victims and are victims of sexual assault and domestic violence right here in Monmouth County. This isn't in anybody else's backyard. This is in our backyard. And it's not a single demographic. It's not just Asbury Park. We're getting people from all over the state. We're getting people from all over demographics. You know, it happens in Homedale. It happens in Cold Snap. And it happens here. No one is immune, which is why these events are so incredibly important. Now here in Mercy Center, we do a lot of things. Our vision is to end generational poverty in our lifetime. We do that through a pantry that's now serving 60,000 people a year. We're a food desert. People are hungry. They don't have the money. They don't have jobs. They need help, and they need to feed their stomach. If you want to talk to people, if their stomach is not full, they are not going to listen. That's the first thing we do. And we do it in a stigma-free way. You take a basket, you go shopping. It's like going to a grocery store without paying any money. We're open 5 days a week, one of only 2 pantries open 5 days a week in the entire county. From there, they go next door to my advocates. What do you need? Is it domestic violence? Is it immigration? Is it co-parenting? Is it anger management? We go to the jails. We help fathers get their kids back. The kids in the public school system might need a little extra therapy. We do all of those things to stabilize and grow families. And then where you are right now is the piece de resistance. Give girls a good quality education, and they will go on and do magic things. Here we have 4th to 8th grade, that's a middle school. It's tuition free, it's private, It's not funded by any church. It's faith-based and small classrooms, and it returns, it has a result of doing this. You get out of here in the 8th grade, you get to a good high school, and from that good high school, you may be able to go where one of our students is going this year, Yale. Now, not all of them go to Yale, but it works. It works. So if you have a 4th grader, please don't hesitate, because that's where you end the generational cycle. So I want to thank all of you for doing what you do. These young women in my Mercy Center and Family Resource Center see this agony day in and day out. I know you're going to hear a lot more about it today, but I applaud everything you do day and night to make sure these women, mostly women, and children get the help they need to survive. So thank you to the Mercy Center Family Resource Center. It is now my honor to recognize a newly appointed prosecutor who I have seen in more places in the last 2 months than I saw the last prosecutor and the prosecutor before that combined. And what does that mean to you as a community? That means this prosecutor cares. He wants to know, as the chief law enforcement officer in this county, he wants to know what people need, and he listens to them. So please welcome very warmly for coming out today, Prosecutor Santiago.
So good afternoon. I want to thank, first of all, the Mayor, of course, and his Wellness Committee, the Mercy Center, the Justice Academy for hosting us today. I could think of no other place where I'd rather be to discuss the issues that are actually happening here in Monmouth County. And as Ms. Godogman just said, I do care. You know, one of the things that we're also looking at this week as we celebrate, it's a week we call it Crime Victims' Rights Week. And there's a slogan about raising the voices of victims, elevating, affecting change, and engaging. So when we look at those 3 things and we're looking at what we're doing today, we need to elevate those who come forward. And that's the sad truth is, most people do not. Nationally, 40% of women will experience some type of sexual assault, most of them before they're 25 years of age. But sadly, only 20% of them will actually come forward and say what's going on. So we have to do more to elevate those voices who are strong enough to come forward. Those who are fearful because of their immigration status, we have tools at our disposal for visas that are special U visas or T visas that are there for that specific purpose. And we have to remove the stigma, which is why we're here today to talk about the fact that that stigma has to be removed. If you are a victim, right, we don't want that stigma being attached. You have to be brave. So we want to elevate and praise those that are brave enough to come forward. You know, those that come forward, they have to also realize they may be writing the chapter of the survival guide for the next person so they can get through their issues. We have to engage, as we're doing here today, engage our community, engage all levels of government, from law enforcement, our legislators, our community, our places of worship. And of course, we need to affect change, because having just a conversation is not enough. My hope today is that this was a first step in that process, that we can all engage and speak loudly. You know, there's a long road for me to get to where I am now. And Madeleine Albright had a quotation that kind of resonated with me when she said, you know, it took me a long time to find my voice, and now that I found it, I'm not going to be silent. Well, so I have a voice, and I intend to use that voice very loudly and very clearly, that we are going to be there for our victims. You know, my office, we have our crime victim advocates that are here today, and they do a phenomenal job. You know, looking at the statistic I shared with you, we'll look, you know, just in our own county, right? In the first quarter of 2023, we've serviced 4,000 people. And of those 4,000 people, 700, which is about 17.5%, were victims of sexual assault type or mental abuse, or physical abuse, right, from a domestic partner. So what we're seeing on a national scale, it happens here. We're not immune to it. So it's in our backyard, it's right here, and we want to make sure that we're doing more as we can. I applaud them for all that they do. You know, they are right on in the very beginning of an incident happening. They come forward, they're there to provide services, talk to victims, find out whether or not we have to ask for orders from judges for no victim contact or no return to scene. If they're victims of domestic violence, whether they want to seek restraining orders, putting them in contact with places like Mercy Center, and putting them in places where there's resources available, like our Community Assistance Resource Center. Those in our whole community, we're trying to make sure that we have the services that we need. So I want to applaud them as well for doing a fantastic job day in and day out. It's a hard job, and I'm sure they, as well as every organization here, doesn't get the thanks that they truly deserve. So thank you very much from our office and all the community. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
And none of this happens unless you have a supportive community. And I cannot tell you the number of times we've called on the local police department to help us in any way, whether it be from parking or security or just helping us with our basketball teams and our STEAM programs here at the school. It would not happen without leadership at the top. And I am so pleased to see the mayor of the city of Asbury Park here. Please, Don, I know you hate to speak, but please say a few words.
Thank you, and thank you all. And where's Lydell? Okay, Lydell was going to say, hey, John, how can you follow that group? Like, really, how do I follow this group? Pam and Veronica, thank you so very, very much. And as Pam said, this is like the 4th month out of 12 for the year that we're doing a different subject on stigma-free Asbury Park and stigma-free, hopefully, the country and the world. So Pam, thank you. Veronica, thank you. Governor, thank you. And again, to have the prosecutor here, I totally agree. He's at every event that we ask him to be at. We don't even ask him when he shows up. Be it CDI meetings, be it anything in Asbury Park. So today's going to be a great meeting. There's 8 more to go. Please go on the city website under Mayor's Wellness Committee. And you want to know something like, it's enjoyable to come to a meeting where like you're not yelled at like, well, you're the mayor, you screwed up this. Well, you're the mayor, you screwed up this. And I'm the mayor, and it's called the Mayor's Wellness Committee, but I did very little for this. Pam, Veronica, and all of Pam's volunteers throughout the year are the backbone of this year, and it's going to be a great year, and I thank you all for being here. And who do I give the mic to next?
And so you've heard the word stigma a lot. So let me go into just very briefly. I worked for Monmouth County for about 6 years. And during that time, I was, started as Division of Mental Health and Addiction Services. Now it's the Division of Behavioral Health. During that time, my former supervisor, Steve Horvath, said to me, there's this stigma-free thing, and we need to do something in Monmouth County, so do something. And he very wisely knows that if you give me a seed, I will turn it into an entire field. So we started the stigma-free movement, and what does that mean? We want to fight the shame that people feel when it comes to mental health, when it comes to substance use disorders. We don't call it addiction anymore. We call it substance use disorder because, 2 people can drink the same glass of wine. One person is fine, the other person, not. And so we started talking about that. We started talking about issues of race and other marginalized people. We've talked about the LGBTQIA population. And what we said with Stigma Free is simply this. We want people to be free to get help. If you broke your leg, you would want to be able to go to the hospital and get help. If your physical heart had an attack, you'd want to be able to go to the hospital and get help. So what happens when your emotional heart needs help? What happens when your soul needs help? You shouldn't be put to shame. Your family shouldn't be put to shame because you make the decision to get the help that you need. And so what is the Stigma-Free movement about? Simply that. We want to break the shame of getting the help that you need. It's really just that simple. And so Mayor Moore talked about going to the city's website. You can email, I think it's wellness@thecityof Asbury Park. So if you are interested in being a part of one of these committees and helping to support one of these months, or afterwards, because we won't solve this problem in a year. I wish we would, but we won't. So if you are interested in being a part of ongoing work, please email us. Please, you can see me today. But we want the city of Asbury Park. We've declared that we are free of stigma. Now we want to live it, and it only happens with your help. So please make sure that you are a part. And now, a big part of what I'm doing is working with the faith community. Because how many people know people feel safe in their houses of worship? Whatever faith you are, we feel safe there. And so we knew, and really coming from Veronica, we had to include the faith community. And so Pastor Akins and Triumphant Life Church are actually part of this program. And so we thank God for them. I want to introduce you to another one of our partners. And what I said of him when I met him was, you can see your heart coming as you walk in the door. So I want to introduce you and present to others Pastor Justin from Glad Tidings Church.
So I have 5 minutes? Yeah, that's smart. That's really smart, because as a Pentecostal minister, you don't want to tell him they only have 5 minutes, because I take it as 15 minutes, but I won't do that. It's really good to be here with all of you. I just came from a funeral, so it's quite the different atmosphere when you get to walk into a building like this with people like you representing such an important message. I'm proud of our church, and I'm proud of the other churches. It's so good to see Pastor Lydell here. Another EG pastor, so I'm feeling the kindred spirit right now. But I'll just echo what has been said so far, because I think it's really important. I work outside of the church as a full-time chaplain in Penn Medicine Health up in Princeton and Plainsboro. And I work primarily in the behavioral health wing for patients struggling with a lot of mental illness. And they are there for a lot of difficult reasons. And the word stigma is a word that is constantly circulating throughout the day in and the day out atmosphere that I'm in. Patients that are so inundated because of the stigma of their struggles. And the word shame is such a destructive force that unfortunately has been misused and abused. And it's led to so many people feeling isolated, alone, and worthless. So one of the things that I like to do in what we call spirituality group is share something that one of my mentors says regularly to me. Suffering itself doesn't destroy. It's suffering and isolation that does. I want to repeat that one more time so that it can sink into here and then into here. Suffering itself does not destroy. It's suffering and isolation that does. And one of the biggest proponents, one of the biggest enemies of us being able to be a community together is when we stigmatize each other, and then shame inevitably arises. And we need to break that. And I look around at this room, and I don't even know most of you. I know my posse in the back, my ladies from GT. I see Kermit, I know Miss Pam, I know Pastor Lydell, and for some of my Didi, I see you there, and it's so good to see you. But for the rest of you that I don't know, I still need to say this. Your very presence here represents the fact that you are fighting the stigma that we need to stand against. And you are fighting and prevailing over suffering. Because when I look around this room, I'm reminded of the fact that I am not alone, and that you are not alone. So I applaud you. And if any word I could give to you here as a faith-based community leader, as a chaplain, as a pastor, and as a man, it's that your work has worth. Whether you are a part of the prosecutor's office, the local governance, a local church, a local community, a part of the Mercy Center, our law enforcement, wherever you're at, your work has worth. So please don't undermine it. Please don't allow it to become insignificant in your own eyes. Your work has worth, and I'm so grateful to be a part of this with you. Thank you. Esther, I gotta give you the mic.
No, this is Gary. He's my pastor. My name is Esther. I'm from Glad Tidings, and I'm gonna sing a Spanish song. So the song talks about, in the story in the Bible says that there was one lady that was suffering for 12 years. She had gone through different doctors, spent so much money on different things, and she wasn't healed. So, but she said, if I would just touch the border of his garment, I know I will be healed. So she went through all the crowds and pushed her way through. As soon as she touched the garment of Jesus, she instantly felt healed. And when she was healed, Jesus turned, who touched me? His disciples said, well, everybody's crowded about you. How come when you say, he touched me? He said, somebody touched me because I felt power coming out of me. She had no other choice but to come forward and say, because I was the one that touched it, and now I've been suffering for 12 years, and now I'm healed. I love what Mercy Center is doing with the different victims and stuff like that. There is a balance between God and help with doctors, lawyers, and stuff like that. You gotta learn how to do both. And when Jesus comes into the situation, everything got to change. Amen. Maestro, if you can. Oh no. How you had it all set up? Yeah, the title of the song is called He tocado su manto. We went to church atmosphere, it's like, come on, praise the Lord. If not, we can go a cappella. I sang this song when I was maybe, I don't know, 15 years old. So I'm going to be 45 this year, so it's been a long time. All right. Guess that? Déjeme pasar, que yo lo quiero ver. Digan dónde está Jesús de Nazaret. Déjeme llegar a donde está Él. Tengan compasión, que un milagro tendré. Si tan solo tocaré su manto, tengo fe que yo puedo sanar. Y este azote que agobia mi vida terminará. Alguien a mí me ha tocado, decía Jesús. ¿Quién ha sido que ha tocado mi manto? He sentido que salió virtud. Yo he sido, Señor, que te ha tocado, solo el borde por no molestar. Mas yo sé que he sido sanada y ahora tengo que glorificar tu nombre, mi Jesús. Déjeme pasar, que yo lo quiero ver. Digan dónde está Jesús de who will help you in everything you're going through. Amen? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Esther. Appreciate that. Appreciate you for coming and ministering that song. One of the things that we really felt very strongly about with this program was we did not want men to feel like we were bashing them. You know, when we talk about sexual assault, we talk about domestic violence, it always seems like, well, we don't care about men, men are horrible. They're not. They're not. Did you know that men were not horrible? Like, do you all know that? I just wanted to make sure everybody understood that. But just like anybody else, anyone who harms someone else might have an issue within themselves. And sometimes, you know, I don't know about you, but I tend to do a lot better with everything when I have an accountability partner. When there's somebody who's going to text me or call me or say, hey Pam, did you write that information? Did you write that book? What did you do? What did you complete that you said you were going to complete? It really helps me and pushes me to do that. So we have an incredible man who has been building a team, who has been working along with this Mercy Center program to make a space safe for men to be accountable and to come to and to listen to and to learn from and then to go out and teach others and bring others along. So I want to present to you Kerwin Webb.
Good afternoon. My name is Reverend Kerwin Webb. I do a lot of things. The reason that I'm up here is my work with the Mercy Center. As part of, there's a community action group that we started. There are 5 of us, and working with Veronica, we were talking about the challenges and the problems that we see in the community. And really, when we hear domestic violence, sexual violence, automatically our minds go to men are no good. The woman is a victim. And there's a whole lot of folk in this time who are men, who are victims, and feel like they have nowhere to go because most things are catered and tailored towards women. No problem with that, but we decided that we wanted to create a space for the men. A space for them to have their questions answered, a space for them to be vulnerable and afraid, a space for them to be challenged and to grow. We started back in December, and we've been to Glad Tidings a couple of times, been to Rebirth. And what the mission statement that I say, that I have in my mind, the operating thing is, I want to build an army of violence interrupters. I want to build an army of violence interrupters because by the time you see domestic violence, where it's somebody hitting someone or doing, that's way beyond where it starts. It starts with our inability to communicate with each other. It starts with our inability to empathize and understand. And we talk about community, in the community, building a community. But the truth is, until we actually all really define who and what are in our communities, our stigmas will continue. Because if you don't consider me as part of your community, you don't see me as important. Sometimes it's intentional, sometimes it's not, but if I am not in your orbit, you don't know that I exist. So you don't hear me when I cry, you don't see me when things go wrong. So, as we continue to do these things, as we continue to gather, please, we can see how much open space we still have, which means that the majority of our community is not here. So that means that you have to be ambassadors. With the information that you get here, you have to go out and tell somebody. So we started our program in December, And I was working with 5 guys from the area, challenged backgrounds, difficult situations. And over 2 months, the way that this group changed and grew and developed and learned how to have difficult conversations with the people that are in their families and other people, the behaviors started to change. One thing that we learned in the training is that violence is more than just physical. Violence is mental, violence is verbal. And most of the time it starts with the words. And if we learn how to change the words, if we learn how to speak differently, we can help interrupt some of this violence. So I would invite you all to stay connected to Pam, stay connected to Veronica, Mercy Center. Dee Dee, thank you for having me on the radio the other day. I want to do more of those because the more that we hear, the more that we understand and we can ask questions. So when our community action group, the Phoenix Project, comes around, or when you hear something about that, that's our work, that's what we're doing. And so I'm looking for other people who are interested in helping us to get to places so that we can tell the truth about stigma, the truth about abuse, the truth about community. And hopefully we can all build an inclusive, stigma-free community where everybody can thrive and grow. Thank you for listening. Remember, you are the ambassador. Pastor Aikens, I'm gonna take it. You are it, so you have to take it out.
All right, so I guess I'm here. I'm going to challenge you a little bit to move out your seat. I'm a disruptor in this moment, and we have some free things we want to give away. We want everyone to get something before you go. And if you did not get a shirt, we want you to get a shirt today. But there's some signs posted, and I want to know if anyone knows why they're closed. Not the people from the Mercy House or someone who set it up. If anyone else knows why the clothes are hanging around in the different areas, if you have an idea of why you think. I think you're too connected. Your twin is sitting right next to you, I don't know if you can. I'll still bless you with something though. But let's get anyone else idea. Don't worry, it's okay if you don't have a wrong idea. Just we're going to tell you. But idea. What do you think? Why the clothes? Okay, you're close. I still want to give you something. I want to give you something. Come on, y'all. She said, are they victims' clothes? All right. I still want to give you something. There's a little bit more detail. They hung it up. So I only know because they hung it up and they taught me today. So any other, there was another one. You had your hand up. Okay. You have a bottle. You have to give her a bottle right next to her. Would you help me? There you go. All right. One more. Come on, let me get one more. One more.
I teach second project.
Okay, go ahead.
When I first walked in, at first I said maybe they thought somebody that needed them, but then I said no. Just as those clothes are hanging freely, hopefully people who may be a victim or know someone who's a victim, they can freely go out and get the resources and help that people need.
I love that. That's not the actual answer they have hanging up, but I like it. No, I like it. One more, anyone else want to try? Okay, so here's what they put up on the reason why. Every time a victim is victimized, the question that law enforcement asks is, what were you wearing? And I thought it was impactful, and I thought it was something that we should share. It's a common question asked by sexual assault survivors of law enforcement attorneys and so forth. And the myth is that what the person was wearing had something to do about the sexual assault. And so I thought that was a good one for us to know before we leave this experience. Second question, all right. How often do you think sexual assault occurs across the nation? How often? How often do you think it occurs? If you had to put a time, 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, every 1 minute, every 2 minutes, every 5 minutes, let's get some guess. We're giving shirts out for this one. 1 minute? 1 minute or less. You know what, you're so close. What size? Medium?
I'm going with small.
Small? Small. We got a small. All right, she's close. I'm going to give her anyone got another? Look, she's close. One more try. Really close. I had to give her one because you're so close. One more try? Just a try, you get a gift. Every 68 seconds. See, you were just 8 seconds on. So see, every 68 seconds occurs. So what I'd like for you to do, now here's the get up part, and I'm gonna give away some things, and music's gonna play. There are little signs hanging around. I just want you to go read through. Those two we just dealt with over there in the back. So really they're along this wall where are some of our community affairs and our churches and so forth, and meet a few of them. So if you could do me a favor, if you can get up real quick, the music is gonna play, and I want you to run and meet a few people real quick, read some of the statistics, and then we're gonna give away some more free stuff. Is that okay? Good? Yeah. Wonderful. DJ?